Well, this Washington Redskins team knew that coming into this game, in order to keep their playoff hopes still alive, they had to walk away with the win against the Titans. But one thing I can say about this Redskins team is that they fought to the bitter end. But as Adrian Peterson and Coach Gruden said, they just did not do enough to pull out this game in the end. So when I look at this game as a whole and the offensive side of the ball, we were always preaching that the Redskins needed to run the ball. Well, they did just that behind Adrian Peterson, who pounded the ball and made some great runs. And when you look at Josh Johnson these last 2 weeks, he's added such a spark to this Redskins offense. But I look at the defensive side of the ball, and although they did some great things in slowing this Titans offense down, and especially Henry, who came into this game in the last 2 weeks with 408 yards, averaging 8.2 yards per carry and 6 touchdowns. They pretty much shut him down until the very end. And that's the thing about this Redskins defense. When it counted most, they just could not stop the Titans at the end after they knocked out the starting quarterback, and they just couldn't put them away. So with one game to go against the Eagles, and the Redskins are pretty much out of the playoff chase, what team will show up at the end? But one thing's for sure, a lot of jobs are on the line.
Once I started looking for car insurance, it was a no-brainer. I switched to Geico and saved hundreds. That's a win. But it's not the only reason I switched. The Geico app makes it easy to manage my policy. I can pay my bill, add a new driver, or even file a claim. Woo! Hey now, that's a win-win. Thank you.
Switch to Geico. It's a win-win.
Physical, right up the middle and getting us 4 or 5 yards. You can see what type of offense we want to be when we're getting 4 or 5 yards on first down. We're not going to just drop back, and we're going to continue to pound it until they stop it. We worked some play actions, tried to hit a couple shot plays off of those same looks. Didn't have a lot of success, but the running game was outstanding.
I honestly feel that we were the better team, and we just didn't do enough. So that hurts. It stings more, when you know that you were better. So, and yeah, you can say we lost a lot of offensive linemen, quarterbacks, but at the end of the day, for 60 minutes, we had the opportunity, and we weren't able to execute. The field goals, they really hurt us today. Not being able to keep those drives alive and finish with 7 points.
Welcome back to Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. Now, Donna, don't get too happy about me letting you open the show. It's only because they played so badly, but they really didn't play that badly. As you see, my beard is still white because I thought the Washington Redskins would still be in it. They're not. This is the holiday season. We don't want to talk about how bad they were, how bad they played, and not being in the playoffs. We want to talk to some of the alum. When it was great here, when we were going to Super Bowl, for the next 2 weeks, we'll be talking to alumni. I'll be talking to my first one, and guess who it is? The gentleman that brought me here, Hall of Famer, Bobby Bedford.
Welcome to Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. And we've been on for 34 years, but this show would never have been if it wasn't for the man next to me. This is the man that brought me to Washington. And not only that, he brought G-Man here too, and this year he's a Hall of Famer. Give it up for Bobby Bedford. Welcome to the show, Bobby.
Yeah.
And I am not kidding. I can remember to the day that you called me up in New England. He said, come on down here. He said, we're going to show them. And I remember I came down, and that was right at the end of training camp, and I went right in there. You even told me that I'd have my number back by Monday.
That's right.
And I just didn't. And you brought me down here, and the next thing I know, I leave New England, where I had a good career, but I'm in 2 Super Bowls right away.
Yeah.
And I thank you, and I want to say right now, congratulations, because you well deserve it of the
You're
Hall of Fame.
thanking me. I should thank you. Maybe we wouldn't have been in the Super Bowl if we hadn't had you down there.
Thank you.
Yeah, what did you see in Tony when you looked at him, and also Gary, those 2 players right there? What did you see?
Well, different
in them?
positions, but one of the things you look for, at least I did in the NFL, was somebody that could rush the passer. And some guys are defensive linemen, and they're good at what they do, but they can't rush the passer. He was real quick. He could get after the passer, and that's a valuable guy. I mean, Gary, he had nothing that there was nothing. Gary, it's a funny story. When I drafted Gary, we had a defensive backfield coach, Richie Pettibone, that was 6'3.5" and 215. I drafted Darryl Green and Gary, and he was so upset. He said, "Guys this little can't play in this league." And I said, "These guys are different." So we, it helped our whole passing game, everything. It was great having these guys. I would have been lucky because I guess a lot of general managers didn't go out and do the scouting themselves, but I got to go out and see these guys firsthand, practicing and everything, and I would have gone nuts sitting in the office all the time, so it was good.
Let me ask you this, Bobby, and I'm actually put your GM hat back on. You remember the players we were.
Right.
What do you see around the league, the players now? Do you see a distinct difference? I know they're bigger and they say all that, but it just seemed to me that they're not the same kind of players.
Well, you know what? I've thought about that because our grandkids playing at the 49ers. I tell my wife, I am so lucky I was in the league all those years then and not now. And if I were that young age now, I'm not sure that's what I want to do. I think it was different then. I think you guys, it seemed like football meant more to you guys than it needs to some of these young guys now. I don't know, but I thought it was better then than it is now.
Well, you know, as you look at the whole thing, and you look at when you were there, and you look at the players, and you look at, do you think the way that collective bargaining have shortened training camp, shortened the time that they can hit during the year, but it seems to be more injuries?
I don't know about that. I haven't kept track of that. But when the collective bargaining agreement came in, I think all the guys in my position had trouble with it. You know, you can only spend this much on players, and you can only do this much. I think we all had trouble. It took us a couple years to adapt to that collective bargaining agreement.
Mm-hmm. But Donna, now you used to get an opportunity to interview Bobby and see his work. Tell us a little bit about that from your side of the ball.
No, I think he said the magical thing as far as how he went out and looked at players. And a lot of general managers these days, they don't go out and assess. They already got their team together and they send the scouts out. But I think his passion that he talked about, wanting to see the players and getting to know them before he even got a chance to even see them as a Washington Redskins. I always liked his passion and just how he engaged with everybody as the Washington Redskins.
Oh man, if I hadn't gone out around the country to see him, I'd have been home. My wife would have been telling me chores to do and stuff like that, and stuff in the office. I was better being gone.
Guys, we're having a lot of fun, but we're going to have to take a little break right now. We'll be right back.
Defense did great, man. It ain't nothing about the offense, man. Offense did great. Josh Johnson, Adrian Peterson, man. Tip my hat to the offense, man. They gave us 19 points. We didn't execute on defense. Anytime we got 19 points with the talent we got on defense, man, we should win every single game. I don't care what it is, man. We should be in the position to win every single game if we get 19 points. The talent on our team is on the defensive side of the ball is through the roof, man. We shouldn't be giving up that last drive. Like I said, we didn't make the plays, but still, man, put us in better position. I'm the D coordinator. I'm calling zone every time on third down because you got a backup quarterback. Make him beat us. Make him, okay, zone, go here. And we go pick you off. Just, man, 3-by-1, you're going backside every time. A kindergarten quarterback can know that, man. So that's my frustration right now, man. We played a hell of a game, man. We fought to the end. Offense, defense, we fought. We just didn't make the plays.
Pretty remarkable, with a lot of the turnover that we've had for us to come out and play like we did last week, to play like we did this week. It's like I said, it's so disappointing that we played the way we did with the adversity that we've had, and we didn't close it out.
Well, you know what? I want to ask you this, and I'm trying to put it in a way that I'm not putting you on the spot, but looking at the possibility of what the Washington Redskins can do this year, what areas do you see they need to improve on? I.e., like, do they need to run the ball more? Do they need to get a receiver more? What would you do if you were GM right now?
You know what? I really can't give you an honest opinion about what they need to do because I'm not in there looking at the tapes and looking at them every day. I can't. I think just the same for every team on defense, if they can rush the passer. If I were out looking for players, on defense for somebody who can rush the passer and cornerbacks, those are the two of the biggest things you look for. But
so
everybody.
If you had to pick somebody up here right now between me and Gary, you want a pass rusher, don't you?
So you'd be our first pick.
You heard that, ladies and gentlemen.
He did pick a kicker in front of me, even if I was the second pick.
Now I want to talk about before we end. Congratulations on the Hall of Fame.
The reason you're the first pick is because Darryl Green isn't here.
Right. Hall of Fame. Gary's going to be in it soon. I was lucky enough to get nominated but not elected. You got elected, and I'm so proud of you. But just tell me how that feels for you.
I told my wife when I found out about it, when I got the call from the guy, I thought, you know what? I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I got to spend my life doing something I didn't think was a real job and got paid for it. And then to get this on top of it, I said the only bad thing about this is I think when you go to the Hall of Fame, you have to make a speech, and I hate to make speeches.
Well, I tell you what, you well deserve it. G, some of your feelings about Bobby, because we all love him. And, Bobby brought us all in, and we joke a lot, but you got to look at the talent he brought in this team.
I owe him my whole career, at the end of the day. Other than Jacksonville, me playing in the USFL, Bobby had the vision to draft me, to bring me here to Washington, had the vision to, put words in with Joe. So I'm starting by my 5th game of my rookie season. My career is dedicated to this man here because this is the man that found me. This is the reason why I was in the NFL. It all goes to Mr. Burkett here, and I can't thank you enough, Bobby. The things that you've done for this team, and there's so many players that you brought in that made us so good. And even after he left, we still won off of what he had brought in. That is key.
You know what's funny? There's a lot of those players right out there now.
That's what I mean, like Ricky
and the togetherness is still here. And you know what, Bobby, I look at, you are unique in looking and evaluating talent, but you were unique in evaluating people as well.
Just look at the 87.
Exactly. Yes.
Our team goes, we'll be 3-0 and 4-0. 3-0 or 4-0. We won every game that we needed. Those teams don't win. We don't even get in the playoffs that year. So he orchestrated that. in that short amount of time. That's wonderful.
The strike here was a different story. I got guys off my California touch football league that I played in out there and brought about 6 of those guys in, and they got paid. How many? The strike was 4 games?
I think it was 4 games.
They got NFL checks for 4 games, and those guys, we had a touch league in California, and it was all passing, and I brought a quarterback and 3 receivers in and something. And they actually played in NFL games for 4 games.
That's awesome.
And we won all the strike games.
Won them all.
So they
Our
got
first ring.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And that was amazing because you guys were able to do that when other teams couldn't, and it was all because of you and the coach and the players you brought in.
I'll tell you what, the big thing there was, I talked to other guys around the league that tried to build their strike teams, and their coaches didn't want to coach them. Our coach said, we had an agreement. Whoever we bring in, you coach them just like Ray, and they did. They coached them. So if they'd have had the attitude that they weren't going to coach them, then we wouldn't have been successful.
But the success that you built, it was from one year to the next year. You just got better over time. It wasn't like when you see general managers now, that they don't have that longevity as far as what you did. You did it over and over again, and that's hard to do.
Every place he was at, a team went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Every place that he came in, a team went to the Super Bowl. That's phenomenal. Like,
there you go.
Congratulations that you're in 100%. Long overdue.
Yeah.
There you go.
Long overdue.
Yeah.
There you
It's
go.
great having you guys.
Thank you for being on the show.
It's always a
Bobby
pleasure.
Bedford,
Always a
ladies and
pleasure,
gentlemen,
Bobby.
Hall of
Thank you,
Famer. Bobby Bedford, general manager and true man and true friend. We'll be back in a moment.
I'm at this wing joint telling people that Geico's been offering savings for over 75 years. That's longer than the Buffalo Wing's been around.
Dozen wings.
And did you know that Geico offers motorcycle insurance? Oh, my lips are burning. No, my lips are actually burning.
Geico. Over 75 years of savings and service. See how much you could save at geico.com.
It's too hot. Oh, this is too hot, mate.
Welcome back to the show, and as you know, we've had a lot of interesting people on here. We've talked about offense, defense, special teams. Now, we got 2 guys on here. One was offense, one was defense, but they both were great players. We got one of the posse, Ricky Sanders. Then we got a lot of people in the locker room knew him as Scrappy, but his real name is Larry Cuban, and we talk special teams and linebacking play. He's one of the best. Cuban! Scrappy! So Larry, you said your grandson is Scrappy as well, huh?
You know, he was had my first grandchild last week ago, and I saw him bridging on his neck like a wrestler. That already made me.
He was bridging a week ago.
He was bridging like this.
Did you show him how to do it?
No, I don't want to interfere. I was watching.
He had an instructional video in his crib.
Right, wait a minute. I was going to ask him, how did you film this?
All I hope is he has his father's brains. His father's brains, which I know he will.
That's all you need.
Thank you for asking.
No question. Ricky, now, I want to know when we look at receivers now, and you were one of the great ones, and you were one of the posse, or the standard. Y'all didn't know an old man would remember that, did you?
I was like, boy, he's good.
When you look at the receivers around the league now, do you see anybody that mimics you?
I would probably say Hopkins with the Texans.
You got the Texans.
I like the way
Hopkins, you hear him say, Hopkins.
I just like the way this guy, man. He's not real cocky, but in a certain way he's cocky. You know, he's just smooth, catching the ball with one hand. You know, laying out for balls.
Look at your teammate looking at you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you always hear athletes and football players talking about playing hurt. My man's playing hurt. He lost his sound and his voice, but he's still up here. You still playing hurt.
Hey, man, I have
to. So you think the guy in Houston, do you see anybody on our team that really mimics you? Because you guys were unique. Gary and you and Art, all of you had your specialty.
Wow, you do want that.
You're a hard person to mimic, man. You're a hard person to mimic.
Right.
You're up here.
That's what I'm saying.
You're up here, dog.
He said he's the standard. Anything, once you're the standard,
there's
nothing that's going to mimic you.
Right here. Now, Cuban, right now, what I don't see, and we've talked about it before, special teams.
Right.
You guys, and you played linebacker as well, but you guys took such pride in it. Do you see that around the league anymore? And this be truthful with it.
You know what? It starts. It starts with leadership, and what I mean is, we had a coach in Wayne Sevier that really made the chemistry powerful, right? So we started every meeting with special teams films, and then Joe, Gibbs got on board with, giving awards for special teams. So, as being three pieces of the game, you needed to be able to have people to stop, run down on kickoffs, block punts, and he understood that. So, sometimes when I watch the Eagles, and I think because when we played the Eagles, they always took a lot of pride in their special teams, right?
Yes.
And it's hard to tell as far as all I know was that component of the game. It started with someone that really understood and motivated the team and the teams and the chemistry to make you feel as if like you were a third piece of that puzzle to win a game. And they gave awards, and they called you out, and they had no problem letting you know that you did well, or let's show it 100 times to make a point.
And I think that's what really is the difference around the league now. They don't take everything as important as we did. And everyone up here has mentioned three facets of the team: offense, defense, special team. Now, it's hard for him to talk about himself. Tell me what you know about Ricky Sanders, and what did you see?
Modest. He's a modest gentleman, always has been. Low-key, but ultra competitive. Like, me, Art, and Ricky, we all wanted to be the guy. Many times, Ricky was the guy. That 88 season should have been a Pro Bowl season for him. Unfortunately, we didn't play as well as a team, but he put up numbers that 12 touchdowns that year. I never came close to getting 12 touchdowns. Most I ever got was 10. This guy was a beast on the field, but also a gentleman off the field.
Okay,
you'll never get us confused. Let's put it this way.
Right.
They won't, Tony. They won't get him confused.
Now, I'm going to ask you guys about someone on. Was Don a good interviewer?
No.
the best.
Thank you, Rick. Well, but I just want to ask you, Gary, are you still salty about the Super Bowl?
Oh, don't bring that up again.
Why do you bring up nightmares?
Because you can't let it go.
Nightmares. I've been going to treatment for this. I've been seeing a therapist. I paid a lot of money to get over Ricky stealing my touchdown pass in Super Bowl 22.
Wasn't the pass thrown
Yeah.
Oh, you
was thrown to
specifically
me.
remember.
It was designed to go to him.
And you got
But I'm looking good too. I was like, I got this.
Oh, you knew it was coming, right?
Wait for it.
I'm looking good. I'm in stride. My guys beat my leaf for a step. All of a sudden, Ricky was supposed to be running a slant. He is 40 yards downfield, running a slant.
Right.
Not that I'm salty or anything about it.
Oh, it was like
But you have.
Go,
Meanwhile, what does he do? He breaks Lynn Swan's Super Bowl record
Yes.
in the first half.
Exactly.
In the first half.
First half.
Who does
No
that?
question.
legit. That's
Yeah.
legit.
Who does that?
But you know what? We joking a lot, but all you guys are great.
This
And
guy
that's the
here.
thing, and that's you too, because when I came here, I was an older player, so I never had the pleasure of playing with you guys. But he was young, scrappy, like he said, and I watched you guys play, and that's why we're sitting here with Super Bowl rings now. But when you interviewed these guys, how did you feel?
No, I'm telling you, they were great. They were fun. I mean, you know, you got good quotes. I mean, Gary was a little hard, you know. And
That's
Ricky,
always.
always
Always.
hard. But I mean, but you can feel the passion, and I think that's what I keep talking about, the passion to win. And Gary said something important, because I think he's been saying this the whole time, is that you just don't run the route that they call, but if you see something else, like he was 40 yards downfield.
Yeah, you
if he
gotta
hadn't been 40 yards downfield, guess what? That touchdown wouldn't have been made.
Right.
I thank you guys for being on, but I got to do something. If you're Gary's therapist, it didn't work. He's still mad. Larry Kubin, thanks for being on the show. Ricky.
Can I get a refund from my therapist?
I will call you as soon as the show over
Can I
for
get your
Gary.
therapist number? I need to talk to him.
And Larry wants you too. We'll be back in a moment.
Geico makes it so easy to manage my policy. With an app that lets me pay my bill, add a vehicle, or even file a claim, it's not just easy. It's aerobics in a recliner easy.
And plank. Smooth it. Shimmy. Woo. And step, swivel. Keep it going. Kick, hold. Kick it out, and kick, and kick.
It's not just easy, it's Geico easy.
Feel the bird.
Hey sports fans, two-time Super Bowl champion Gary Clark and Pacific Dental Services have joined up to bring Redskin fans a chance to win free NFL Legend experiences. Go to www.garyclarkinc.com/fans to register for a chance to win. Good luck.
It is through our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light again. I would love for you to pick up my book, Getting to the Other Side of Victory. If not for yourself, a loved one, or a friend, pick it up for someone that's going through a tough time. You can purchase it on both Amazon and Barnes & Noble in both paperback or ebook. For my autographed copy, go to my website at www.donnajhopkins.com and help someone get to the other side of victory. I'm with George Stark, the great offensive lineman. George, talk to me about being back.
Well, it's always good to come back and see the guys, see the guys that used to beat you up in practice and you used to beat them up in practice. But regardless, we're a family, and it's just a good thing.
I talked to some of your offensive lineman friends on Friday at the barbecue place, and they talked a little bit about you. What would you say made you all special? Those 5 o'clock clubs?
I think that, yeah, a little bit. We were close on the field, and we were close off the field, and all that sort of bonding and stuff, over a couple of beers, worked out well for us.
Boy, it was good seeing George Stark. That was one of my favorite players when I played with him. And for the next couple of weeks, you'll see a lot of our favorite players. We do not want to belabor it over the holiday season if the Washington Redskins are out. And as I said, we'll show you alumni. But my tip is for our third show. When you're looking at our show on January the 9th, remember that's our Easter Seal show. And we're doing a job fair there. So I'll be telling you about the next few weeks. Now, don't be unhappy. The Washington Redskins, they're not in the playoffs. But you know what? This is holiday and you're with your family. Enjoy both. We'll see you next week in a minute.